kids feeling what I felt. The world ended. I felt like, I felt guilty. What did I do wrong that made my father get up and leave without explaining anything? So
For most children, the idea of growing up with a father like Kiss frontman Gene Simmons, who is renowned around the globe as the Demon, would be terrifying. However, for Sophie Simmons, it was just another Tuesday. Sophie has had a life that most people can't fathom, torn between the ostentatious persona of a legendary rock star and the shockingly ordinary father figure who returned home each night. Now Sophie, who grew up as Gene Simmons' daughter but kept a low profile about it, is finally speaking out about her unusual childhood. Everything she tells you will shock you. The Demon's shocking life lessons, the awkward moments that come with having a father known for his tongue, the rigid household regulations that went against his rock star image, and more. It to an unlikely father. The home demon. The most shocking thing that Sophie revealed was not her crazy rock star behavior, but rather her father's remarkably typical and traditional family life. Despite Gene Simmons's reputation as Kiss's bloodthirsty, fire-breathing devil, Sophie's father was a stickler for regular school assignments, strict bedtimes, and instilling in his children the importance of working hard. Sophie frequently brings up the difference between her father's public and private selves. Fans were expecting a mansion full of rock and roll excess, but that wasn't the case at all. Gene Simmons's home life was unexpectedly conservative and controlled, in contrast to his flamboyant performance persona. The man whose jaw-dropping theatrical talents stunned onlookers was actually a teetotaler who abstained from drugs and alcohol. Education, accountability, and financial literacy were prioritized over the conventional rock star lifestyle in his parenting approach, which was influenced by this concept. Sophie came from a family that valued education highly and made good use of her father's business skills. Because of his mother's influence and his own immigrant experience, Gene took an unconventional approach to parenting. Gene brought the same work ethic and determination that her mother, a Holocaust survivor, had instilled in her and her brother Nick when they were growing up. As a result of her famous father, she had an exceptional upbringing that was anchored in unexpectedly traditional beliefs. The renowned work ethic of Sophie's father also had an impact on her childhood. In addition to his unwavering commitment to the Kiss brand, Gene Simmons is renowned for his dogged pursuit of financial prospects. At home, though, it meant instilling in his kids a sense of responsibility, helping them create goals, and stressing the significance of working hard and not getting ahead just because of their family name. Being filmed. My Life on Reality TV. The 2006 to 2012 reality show, Family Jewels, hosted by Gene Simmons, was one of the most talked-about parts of Sophie's upbringing. Now that she's older, Sophie has spoken out about her family's life in the spotlight, as well as her views on privacy and stardom as a result of this encounter. This statement encapsulates the particular problem of having your teenage years videotaped for public consumption. While trying to retain some sort of a regular family life, Sophie reflected on her reality show experience, noting, "Viewers got a rare glimpse inside the Simmons family dynamic on the episode, exposing Gene's unusual level of involvement as a parent and his connection to his long-term companion, Shannon Tweed. Sophie saw this as an opportunity to include common adolescent themes into the play, such as dating, school events, and family disputes. Sophie has talked highly of the experience, praising how it let her family's real dynamics shine through despite the presence of cameras. Showcased on the program were the Simmons family's The infamous Kiss frontman was scary to would-be suitors, as this subtle remark implies. In interviews, Sophie has discussed the uncomfortable experiences she had as a child and adolescent due to her father's celebrity. Simple outings, like going to the cinema or a restaurant frequently became unexpected meet and greet sessions with admirers, and school events got more problematic when other parents recognized her father. Not only did she have to deal with the constant scrutiny, but she also had to figure out how to explain her father's stage image to her peers. "It was terrifying when I was a tiny kid," Sophie remarked. "It became humiliating after that. As far as my friends are concerned, my dad spits blood. At this point, I consider it his job. A peculiar occupation." This shift in her perspective exemplifies her slow acceptance of her father's unconventional profession. As Sophie pointed out, there were further obstacles for would-be suitors to overcome while dating the daughter of a rock star notorious for his violent stage presence, on top of the usual hurdles of navigating parental approval. It must be quite an ordeal to try to win over a girl's father, especially if he is known for his fiery breath and speaking a language that has become iconic. Sophie's resilience and the strong foundation her parents established are evident in her ability to find humor in these situations, despite her atypical background. The demon teach us about business. Getting an education in business from her father was probably the most important part of Sophie's childhood. Rock star Gene Simmons is more than that. His marketing acumen and commercial acumen are second to none. Transformed Kiss into a legendary brand that has sold more items than any other in entertainment history. At a young age, Sophie realized that natural ability isn't enough to achieve success. Responsible money management, as well as savvy business judgments, are prerequisites. The Simmons household was a constant echo chamber for Gene's now-famous work ethic and financial mindset. He instilled in us a respect for the dollar, as Sophie recounted. "We did not receive anything free of charge. To get what we desired, we had to put in the effort." Even Gene's now-famous declaration to his kids, "I'm rich, you're not," was part of this strategy. It will be up to you to generate your own income. This may come out as harsh, but Sophie has clarified that this mentality guided her toward greater autonomy and self-sufficiency. Instead of raising spoiled brats who thought they could ride on their father's coattails, Gene instilled in Sophie and Nick the value of forging their own identities. There were real-world examples of entrepreneurship and brand development in the business lessons. Through smart merchandising, licensing partnerships, and meticulous brand management, Sophie saw her father build Kiss into a multi-billion-dollar business. Her own career decisions and strategy for creating her personal brand were shaped by these lessons, discovering who she is and communicating her unique perspective. How Sophie carved out a niche for herself and her profession from the ground up is the most essential part of her narrative. Sophie has made it her mission to carve out a unique identity for herself, free from the shadow of her famous father. Sophie has been open about the struggle she has had to overcome in order to be recognized for more than just her mother, Gene Simmons. The fact that she is able to honestly weigh the pros and cons of her illustrious family tree is evidence of her maturity, she said. To foster the growth of her unique creative identity, she has kept her music and entertainment career apart from Kiss on purpose. With the words, "I want my music to speak for itself," Sophie has made it clear that she wants her music to do the talking. "Having my own voice is crucial to me." She inherited her father's spirit of independence, and it shows in her resolve to make it big on her own. As Sophie has grown into an adult, their relationship has changed. She acknowledges his contributions and values the teachings he imparted, but she has also set limits that enable her to exist independently. The fact that Gene has always encouraged her to be self-reliant in her professional decisions is evidence that his parenting style has been effective. Do you agree with Gene Simmons that his children should be responsible for their own achievement, or disagree with him? Post your opinions in the space provided. Like this video, subscribe to Facts Verse, and turn on notifications for more intriguing tales from the entertainment industry if you like this glimpse into the personal life of a rock legend's family. Have a great time watching. We'll catch you in our future video.